most of you guys already know this. I'm sure most of you guys already know this. Donald Trump won the election, 2024 US election. I'm sure some of you guys knew this already. Not really in question, really. I'm surprised most people are surprised on the internet. I think not because he won, more so because Kamala didn't win, if that makes any sense. She was a pretty terrible candidate. Maybe as soon as that shooting happened or the attempted assassination of Trump, maybe that was the point where it swung in his favor. But I just think in general, Biden wasn't going to win against Trump, especially in the current state that he's in. And also Kamala wasn't. And I think the gaslighting, I'm not going to lie, I think the gaslighting from early doors of the people on the Democrat side of things, from what I could observe, trying to tell people that there was nothing wrong with Biden, trying to tell people that Kamala Harris was a more than adequate, if not better replacement. The ousting of Biden the way they did, because they did Biden kind of dirty. I'm not going to lie. I wonder if he feels really annoyed and pissed off at the Democratic Party because they knew he was, going through what he's going through, old age, dementia, whatever is happening. They were happy to have him on a ticket. Then when it got too bad or when it got really obvious, that's when they took him off. I would have been pissed. Like, I'm already here. You might as well just let me get over the finishing line. What's the point of replacing me with this woman who's never going to win, right? She couldn't even win her own. I think she ran for president one time and she couldn't even get past maybe, I think the first phase or first round or something. I forgot what it was, but she was never really that popular herself. So it was always going to be an uphill struggle. I think personality wise, the cackling, the talking most politicians talk vaguely and in circles, but Kamala Harris has a real talent for doing so. And considering where the country or the world is at the moment, probably people didn't want to hear or see that. Probably wanted to be spoken to a little bit more directly. Who knows? Either way, I think this was more so an election where less about Trump being amazing, because I think he's also kind of faltered and not really been saying anything of merit in this entire run from what I've been able to see. I think it's mostly been an election where the Democrats didn't really have an adequate opponent really that people could vote for, an adequate other option. I think, if you were voting for Kamala Harris, you were just voting for hope, voting on pure hope, voting on pure vibes. At least with Trump, you were hoping as well, kind of weirdly enough, that he was going to be the change you went to see and a departure from what happened previously, especially, I'm not sure why, but I think we in general as humans, we kind of put way too much value on politics anyway, especially presidential stuff, elections. I think a lot of people probably thought that they probably blamed the Biden administration a lot with what their current situation is going on at the moment, immigration, economy, jobs, whatever, education, security, blah, 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 healthcare. They blamed it all on the Democrats. So maybe they were doomed before they failed because people are like, you know what? I blame this all on you. I want to change. So the only change we're going to have is to get someone to retire on. Maybe, but I'm not super surprised, not gonna lie. I think it should have been closer. It shouldn't have been as close. It says here at the end, Donald Trump 294, Kamala Harris 223. It should have probably been a bigger landslide, but still, he won. That's all we need to know there. Let's quickly go here actually on this article here, courtesy of BBC. 7 things Trump says he would do as president. Again, whether he's going to do these things remains to be seen. It's always interesting and funny when politicians, especially presidential candidates, completely change their tune once they get in, once they get into the big door, once they get into the big seat. I still haven't forgiven Nick Clegg for how he did us dirty young people, especially in the UK, when he pledged to keep the tuition fee frozen or at a certain rate, and then as soon as he was part of the coalition, he immediately reneged on it, and the tuition fee has gone up and up. I think recently I heard the university tuition fees up to like 12 grand a year now. So I'm always very dubious of politicians making promises, especially during the presidential run before they get into power, and then usually doing a fucking 180 on it. So let's see what these policies are. Courtesy of BBC. This is Donald Trump is set to return to the White House, having promised action on issues including immigration, the economy, and the war in Ukraine. He looks likely to. Oh, he hasn't said nothing about Palestine though. That would be interesting to hear. Nothing said about Palestine. He looks to enjoy plenty of support of his political agenda in Congress after the Republican Party regained control of the Senate. In his victory speech, Trump vowed he would govern by a simple motto of promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises. Okay, let's see what the promises are. Number 1, deport undocumented migrants. Wow, okay. You come that straight out of the gate. While campaigning, Trump promised the biggest deportations of undocumented migrants in U.S. history. He has also pledged to complete the building of a wall after the border with Mexico that was started during his first presidency. Number of crossings at the U.S. southern border were hit record levels of the end of last year during the Biden administration before falling in 2024. Experts have told the BBC that deportations on the scale promised by Trump would face legal and logistical challenges and could slow economic growth. Really? If you try to deport too many people at the same time, it can actually slow economic growth. That's fucking crazy. Moves on economy, tax and tariffs. Exit poll data suggested that the economy was a key issue for voters. Trump has promised to end inflation, which rose to high levels under President Joe Biden's under President Joe Biden before falling again. But a president's power to directly influence prices is limited. He also promised sweeping tax cuts instead of his overhaul for 2017. He has promised making tips tax-free, abolishing tax on social security payments, and shaving corporate taxation. This probably explains why people like Joe Rogan and shit and Dana White and a few other rich folks have been super eager to kind of back Trump. This explains a lot. Do you know what I mean? Money, taxes. Number 3, cut climate regulations. Number 4, end the Ukraine war. Trump has criticized the tens of billions of dollars spent by the US on supporting Ukraine in its war with Russia, and has pledged to end the conflict within 24 hours through a negotiated deal. He has not said what he thinks either side should give up. Democrats say the move would embolden President Vladimir Putin. Trump wants the US to disentangle itself from foreign conflicts generally. Regarding the war in Gaza, Trump has positioned himself as a staunch supporter of Israel, but has urged the American allies to end the operation. He's also pledged to end the related violence in Lebanon. Okay, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that he's such a fucking fan of Israel in general. It'd be more beneficial for everybody if he was maybe more on the Palestinian side, because that would maybe cause for him to be more on the side of a ceasefire. Could you imagine if you're a fan of Israel, or if you're a Zionist, you're probably most likely like, hey, they have a right to defend themselves, and war is painful, war is hard type of thing, which is obviously not going to be beneficial to the Palestinian people. So that's a shame, but I guess that's one thing. No abortion ban. Against the wishes of some of his supporters, Trump has said that in a presidential debate with Kamala Harris that he would not sign into law a national abortion ban. That's a really good idea, to be honest. I like that. I'm sure a lot of women in America also like that. Number 6, pardon some Jan 6 rioters. Yeah, that's probably needed anyway, to be fair. The people that did get arrested especially some of the sentences, they were too crazy, man. To be honest, even though you know what they did wasn't the greatest, I think some of them should be let out, to be fair. Sack special counsel Jack Smith. Trump has vowed to sack within 2 seconds of taking to office the veteran prosecutor leading 2 criminal investigations against him. That's brilliant. I love that bit of pettiness. Special counsel Jack Smith has been indicted, or has indicated Trump has indicted Trump over alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election and over his alleged mishandling of classified documents. Trump denies any wrongdoing and managed to prevent either case coming to trial before the election. He says Mr. Smith was subjected him to a political witch hunt. Trump will return to the White House as the first ever president with a criminal conviction, having been found guilty in New York for falsifying business records. That's going to be great to see, in it. Him enacting revenge and going at people who kind of did him dirty back in the day. I'm gonna love to see that, bro. So yeah, big up Trump, absolutely love it. And let's see how it plays out. And I think for everybody involved, and I don't know for those of you in the US, but I don't think this is a surprise, man. I think you should, this should have been something that you should have expected. And I think going forward, I'm surprised to see the amount of American people who are really pissed off at this and annoyed because they think it's going to really disturb or affect their everyday lives, and most likely it won't. That's the unfortunate thing. They promise a lot, they give you all these false promises on both sides, but then in the end they don't really benefit the average working class, not the average everyday person. I say working class person. That's the real big shame of it. Let's play the clip actually here from his, I guess, him at the end, celebrating that he won. Let's play this clip.
Thank you very much. Wow. Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And
the funny thing is, this is actually the perfect time to do so. Like, if you really want to go down as a legend, if you really want to embolden people and bring a lot of people from the Democrats over to the Republicans and almost guarantee that you win a second, can you do that? If you won your first term, lost the second term, but then came back and won again a re-election, can you have another term? I'm not sure, but let's imagine he doesn't have one. All but guarantee that Republicans, end up becoming, or a Republican candidate ends up being president again. Especially if you fix things, if you kind of, put more money in people's pockets, that the economy starts to bolster, job market starts to improve, health, whatever else happens. Like, if that sort of thing happens and the major wars end, or the US involvement in some of these major wars across the world kind of reduces a little bit, I think there'll be a lot of people who are maybe on the fence who'll probably be thinking, you know what, I might have to go to the red tie side. That might be a thing, but again, I doubt he's going to follow through on any of these promises personally.
We made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Don't forget that one. This guy's a wild guy.
Every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. A star is born, Elon.
Well, he says his name is funny.
Now he's an amazing guy. China. We were sitting together tonight. He spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning. He sent the rocket up 2 weeks ago, but this spaceship came down and I saw those engines firing and it looked like it was over, it was going to smash, and then I saw the fire pour out from the left side and I put it straight and it came down so gently and then it wrapped those arms around it and it held it, and just like you hold your baby at night, your little baby. And it was a beautiful thing to see, and I called Elon. I said, Elon, was that you? He said, yes, it was. I said, who else can do that? Can Russia do it? No. Can China do it? No. Can the United States do it other than you? No. Nobody can do that. I said, that's why I love you, Elon. That's great.
So yeah, there you have it. There you have it. But one of my favorite clips, actually, let me pull this up before we move on, is the clip with Dana White thanking fucking Donald Trump. Wild. I was thinking, who said it actually in the stream chat here? Somebody said it in the stream chat. Yeah, big up the Garcia vlogs. I think the podcasting world and content creators in general played a huge role, I think, as well, in changing the vibe around Trump and maybe pushing some people to go and vote Republican anyway. I swear to God, because this particular clip from Dana White getting on stage at that same, celebratory event at the end of the election there, where he basically shouts out Dana. You think he shouts out Theo too, innit? Yeah, here's a clip. This Theo Von actually posted it. Look, see, there's a clip right there. There's a clip right there, mate, from Theo Von's account. Look at Dana White getting up there and thanking all the podcasters and content creators for helping Trump become president. Absolutely wild scenes.
I want to thank some people real quick. I want to thank the Nelt Boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, Bustin' with the Boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan.
That's a good point, though. I think they actually did kind of help. I'm not gonna lie. I think they actually did fucking kind of help. No word of a fucking lie. And you have to be honest too. I think the Democrats' refusal to engage on that side of things, Kamala not going on Rogan, all these type of things, that kind of, you know, I would say a little bit stuck up and pretentious, and almost feeling like they're above certain people, maybe is what cost them. Trump was really on the circuit, man. He was going on all the fucking pods, campaigning all the time. JD Vance, the same sort of thing. That really, I think, maybe helped some of the discourse I saw online. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I've seen as much vitriol. Yes, there's been people freaking out, but I don't think Trump is as hated as he once was the first time around. I think people have kind of changed or warmed or softened to him. The rhetoric is probably still the same. He still probably says a lot of inflammatory things. If anything, he's been convicted of crimes since then. You know, there's been accusations of sexual assault, all this sort of stuff, crazy shit. It's not really hurt him. He's Teflon in that regard. But I think the perception around him is kind of softened. And I'm not too sure if it's because of him, if it's because of time, if it's because of Biden being, you know, how he was during his run and obviously having to step aside for Kamala being very unlikable. I don't know. But I feel as if the atmosphere, the temperature and the vibe and the whatever around Trump has kind of softened and changed. And I wonder if that's part of it, or if it's just people in America just going through a hard time and wanting to blame somebody, and the easiest person to blame apart from yourself is somebody, you know, in the White House. And you look at Trump, you look at Biden, you look at Kamala, you think, oh, I've had all these years of hurt and pain. These people are responsible. Get them the fuck out. That might just be part of it. Who fucking knows? And of course, the immigration thing, innit? Like, the immigration thing in America is fucking wild, especially with some of these guys coming over from Central America, South America and stuff, like, you know, and then going on to do crazy crimes. Like, it's I don't know why that's happened. I don't know if it's because of a societal thing, if it's because just, you know, all the people that came over from those countries were sick and mentally unwell. But the amount of migrants, illegals that have come over, and I've seen articles of them doing crazy crimes, like, you know, R-wording kids and stuff and assaulting women and beating up old people. It's like, if ever you wanted a bad example of what unbridled immigration looks like, that's it. You know what I mean? And people like the Republicans are going to take advantage of that. They're already against immigration anyway. They're already against a multicultural world. When you start having migrants coming in who are quote unquote illegal, and they're coming over and committing crimes, like, and kind of like sponging off the, you know, of the government and shit, people are going to be angry, you know? So that's been a really tough thing to watch, especially in places like New York. Because a lot of like black and brown people are like, look, I'm not against, you know, migrants. I'm a migrant myself, but these motherfuckers are doing too much. So I don't know what happened there, man. But either way, thoughts and prayers with my American viewers. Hopefully things work out for you guys and it doesn't end the way I think it's going to end, you know? Hopefully. Let's actually play a little bit of the Kamala Harris speech and then I'm going to move on. This is Kamala Harris conceding. Let's hear what she said here.
Who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win.
What? Again, what is she talking about? Trump had a lot of these moments too. But I feel like, I wonder if Tim Dillon was right in the end. She never really wanted to be president anyway, did she? Probably not. It was all just a vibe. It was all just a, you know, I don't know. Never really got the impression that she really wanted to be president and really kind of, you know, at least Trump pretends he's affecting change, right? He believes in somewhat in that office. He believes somewhat in that role. He believes somewhat in America. You think, I don't know if that makes any sense. But you don't really get the feeling Kamala did. It was almost like, I want to be a token. Use me as a symbol of hope, but I don't really believe it in my heart of hearts, you know? But yeah, what does this even mean? Like, what? Lady, like, what?
Doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
This is Gary Vee, Ty Lopez level of fucking motivational speaking, man. Like, okay, cool, man. Thanks for letting us know. I'll be curious to see if, though, once she sits down properly and has candid interviews, if that we get the impression that her camp kind of knew from the beginning it was never going to be they were never going to win, especially after the attempted assassination and shit. That was never going to happen. I'm also curious to see if she ends up speaking from the heart and being very eloquent and making a lot of really smart points now that she's out of the election, and she's kind of going to step into quote unquote, let's say, normal life. That'll be funny to see as well, because it'll be like, hey, where was this person the whole entire time during the election? But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Moving on.